Hello, everybody. I'm thinking about two things that I really wanted to share with you. One is keeping your side of the road clean. I say this a lot in my practice to my staff and to our team members. And, so Dr. Hannah, if she's in here, when she watches this, she'll be like, yep, she says this a lot to me. Like if she comes out of a consultation, let's say, or a PRC or report of finding, and she says, they didn't sign on for care. My question is always, like, did you keep your side of the road clean? Is there anything you could have done better? Did you stay congruent with the procedures? Was your mindset right? Were you in control, and did you deliver the best you could deliver? Did you follow all the steps? Did you hit all of your pegs? And if she's like, and I do this with myself too, did I keep my side of the road clean? And then I have to go, okay, wait, did I do that? And if the answer is no, I didn't, it's not an opportunity to like beat yourself up or be like, oh, I'm terrible. It's the opportunity to say, okay, let me go through the steps. First of all, you have to know the steps, right? I just did a lesson on this for the academy, which I'm putting up. It's going to be in the creating awareness section, i.e. marketing, creating awareness. And it's going to be the first video, and it's about the funnel. The reason is we cannot expect that people in the world and in our community are going to go, oh, chiropractic, autism, or, oh, chiropractic, that makes sense, behavioral learning socialization challenges. They aren't making that leap, and especially because people are telling them that's crazy if they are trying to make that leap. A lot of people are. Not everybody, but a lot of people, especially in the traditional therapeutic realms, which are their most trusted advisors. And so we have to know that we have to have a strategy. We have to understand that we have to bring them to us, right? Before we can expect them to follow what we say or buy into what we say or pay us money to provide a service and then follow through with that. We have to know that there's a strategy in which we're bringing them down the funnel for us to be able to deliver our service, our communication, and then our service, and then for them to go, yeah, that makes sense, let me do that, and then follow through with that. And so it starts with mindset, right? It starts with, do we understand? Do we really understand what we have to offer? And am I in the right headspace of understanding that there's a lot of work that I need to do to get them to see that I know what I'm doing and that there's a value here and that we should be the team leader. And it's not just about my ego and it's not just about my business and it's not because I'm like everyone else is wrong, but it's because I know, because I've learned, and that's you guys, how the whole picture goes together and how we have to work with others and how there's lots of pieces, but we understand the whole apart approach, working with behavioral learning, socialization, and deflected development. We know that so we can stay in our lane. We don't have to pretend we know what we don't know. We don't have to pretend to be the only person on the team. So it starts with mindset, which then creates your environment, which then allows you to create these great procedures. And then you have to be dripping this information, planting these seeds in your social media and your email, when you do a booth somewhere, when you speak somewhere, when you're out in public, when somebody asks you what you do. You have to be able to effectively plant seeds for people not to go like, oh, chiropractic and autism. That makes perfect sense based on that little 30-second interaction I had with you, where I was thinking chiropractic was just about back pain and racking and cracking. Now, which is like the general population thinks that, right? Don't fight against it. Understand it, and let's make a strategy to bring them to us. Don't be pissed at it. It is what it is. Let's just go, great, that's where they are. How do we make a strategy to bring them to us? That's where they are. Let's plant some seeds in our sharing these graphics where they're like, oh, yeah, that's the first person to say like, yeah, like my kid's not bad, but that's telling me about their brain. I don't know why the heck that chiropractor's saying that, but okay. And then you're just consistently planting these seeds and then they're interacting with you in different places. Basically, the purpose of that is your mindset's right. You're planting seeds. You're getting them to go, huh? You're getting them to just turn their head and say, what? And go, wait, something's different. Like, why is this chiropractor saying this? That's crazy. Like, what? I don't get it. But you're getting them to turn their head. When they turn your head, you need to have an opportunity for them to then engage with you. That's why we say, and I hope you're all in BDC because we got you 3 free months. That's why we always say, have an event, have a group, have a holistic moms group, have a homeschooling group. I want to start a homeschooling group in ours too. I've got some homeschooling concepts kind of percolating for you guys. But so have something to invite them to that's not trying to take them right to the sale. You need to get them to turn their head, and then we need to give them an opportunity to lean in, to say like, okay, well, I'm not ready to like buy in or drink that Kool-Aid of like chiropractic can be good for my kid, but because that's how they're thinking, right? That's where they're at. A lot of people at this point, still at this point in the game, and that's not a bad thing. We need to be able to understand that and embrace that and accept it, and then work a strategy to bring them to us. And so, not because we're just greedy, but because we know we can help. This is how we keep our side of the road clean, right? And so we're planting seeds. We're getting them to turn their head. We're getting them to lean in a little bit, come to one of our groups, engage with our culture a little bit. Not because we're trying to sell them there, but because they're just getting in our bubble. They're engaging in our culture. Then we're like, hey, I've got this lecture. You should all be doing a lecture. Do it webinars, do it lecture, whatever you have to do right now to get that information out there. Be doing Facebook Live, simply, concise. Not confusing them, but giving them information, right? That's why I want you doing the lecture. I've given you the slides. I've given you the breakdown. I've given you the community lecture. Do the lecture because you're taking them. Your mindset's right. You're planting seeds. They're turning their heads. They're leaning in. And then you're like, oh, here's some great information. And they're like, ready to hear it. Then we give them an offer. If you'd like to know if your child or you have deflected development and where we are in this hierarchy, and if we can help, the only way to do that is to ask and answer the 2 big questions. How is your child processing the world? And what does that tell us about the tools they're using and the architecture of their developing brain? And second question, is there anything interfering with that? Some of the big things would be inflammation, and even bigger, is there a change or inefficiencies in the way the brain is receiving, processing, and sending information? Because if that's the case, we have to deal with that first, till the soil, and then monitor the tools and see if we're seeing change, and then eventually maybe add some other things in, exercises, dietary stuff, to encourage this future development. See, we didn't start there. We started with just getting them to turn their head. We then got them to lean in and see that we're not scary, right? And that we're kind of like, oh, they're good people. I want to be in that culture. That feels good. They're all about education, simplicity. They might have something to say. They're different. That's the thing. They're different. So they had this expectation of what chiropractic is, and now they're like, oh, these people are different. I don't know what the heck they do, but they're different. Then you bring them to a lecture, and you're like, let me tell you how we're different. And you, again, in that lecture, like I teach you in the lecture, you say, anybody confused at why you're at a chiropractic office? Yeah, I would be too. Let's go ahead and address that right now. That's how you start your lecture. So you don't pretend that's not the case. You go ahead and deal with that objection right there. And then they're like, okay, I can lean in further. And then you make an offer. And the offer makes tons of sense. And you say, if we want to know if we can help, this is what we do. Ask and answer these 2 questions. Well, the only logical thing to do there would be to ask and answer those 2 questions. We do that with a consultation exam. And then you follow the sequence from there. See, did we keep our side of the road clean? That's all we can do. If somebody doesn't want to engage with you or continue down that funnel all the way through accepting care and continuing care, that's fine. That's really not our business because, you don't know what their finances are like. You don't know what their life is like. You don't know what their family's like. You don't know what their experience is like or what they're currently involved in or their challenges are, their wins are, where they are, what support they have. You don't know. It's not your business. It's not our responsibility. Our responsibility is to take them down this funnel and provide a safe place to land by following all the procedures and following every step of the way to where you can keep your side of the road clean, so you can say, if they didn't accept care, I've created a safe environment to where when they're ready, if they're ready, they can come back and it's not going to feel weird for them. We have that all the time. You can ask Dr. Hannah. All the time we have patients that didn't accept care maybe 10 years ago. Literally, we have this all the time. 10 years ago, 7 years ago maybe. And then they're like, I saved the money and now I'm ready. Let's go. We just had that. And they signed up 2 of their kids for the full focus program, $900 a month a piece. They came to a lecture years ago. Never continued down. Came to a lecture, got to that point, came to a lecture, and then we never saw them again. I didn't even remember who they were. They came to a lecture and didn't schedule an exam. And then they came in, they called, they said, hey, we're ready to go. We've been saving, and they're a wonderful family, but it didn't feel weird to them because we kept our side of the road clean. And so if you walk out of an exam, if you walk out of a PRC or report of findings, you walk out of an interaction with a patient where they either opted in or opted out or whatever happened, whether it's a new patient or an ongoing patient, you have to ask yourself and your staff, you have to have the conversation and you have to be honest. Did I keep my side of the road clean? And if you didn't, again, that's not the place to beat yourself up. That's a place for growth. That's a place for you to go, yeah, my energy kind of sucked, which happens to all of us sometimes, and I could have done this better. Or, yep, I was nervous about presenting the finances, and I could have done this better. Okay, let's lean in. Let's watch some videos on that. Let's ask for help on that. Let's bring that to the Q&A. What do we have to do there to work on that step? This is the only way we grow. This is the only way we get better. But we have to start with being honest with ourselves, asking that question and asking it of our team. And then if we can say, no, I do feel like I kept my side of the road clean, you know that had nothing to do with me then. And that's a win. It's a win because you delivered. You kept your side of the road clean. You delivered. Now, what happens on the other side of the road is not your business, right? And so now, if you consistently are having people not convert and you're consistently saying, nope, I kept my side of the road clean, then maybe we need to look at somewhere in the process because maybe you need some self-discovery in there, and that's totally fine. But that's the process and how it needs to happen. So that's one thing I was thinking about because I was making some videos on that for you guys, some lessons on that. And so I wanted to share that with you. That's one of the things. The other thing I was thinking about and I wanted to share with you was this concept in this book I'm reading that Sean sent me, and it's the Quantum Leap Strategy. The Quantum Leap book. It's a great book. You should get it. And it's like, I don't know, it's like $5 or something, $10, I don't know. And it's a good book. It's a quick little, you read it in 20 minutes. But it's good. And then there's this strategy book, and he talks about this. Maybe some of you have played with this toy. I was telling Dr. Hannah about this last week, the Chinese finger trap. It's like a toy that we played with when we were kids. It's like this little, it's like the size of a pen, and it's a tube, and you put your fingers in it. It's like woven, and you put your fingers in it, and the game is you put your fingers in it, and if you just put them in and then you try to pull them back out, you can't. It's like you're stuck. You're stuck in there. And it doesn't matter how hard you try. I mean, I suppose if you like really try, you could break the thing. But you have all this force, and you're just like trying. And the harder you try, the tighter it is on your fingers, and you can't get it out. And the only way to make this happen is to loosen, like ease, like actually lean into this and like relax your fingers and kind of twist them out sideways and kind of do this. This is the only way. That's the trick to getting out of that Chinese finger trap or whatever it's called. That's the toy. That's the name of the toy or something. And so I love that. They brought that up in that book, and I thought that was wonderful because that's like what so many of us do, and we all do it, and we all do it at different times, but we don't always recognize that we're doing it. And so the thing is that Are you, this is the next question to ask yourself, are you working so hard trying to force to just work harder and force something to happen, whether it's growing your practice or in your personal life or whatever? Are you just trying to grind? Are you just grinding? And I will tell you that I have this history and I catch myself in this all the time. I thought about this today. Are you just, because I'm an athlete. I'm a like that's where that's what my history is. I'm like I can just work hard and I can just force something. I can just force it. The harder I work, the more I can get it done. If I just work hard, I'll get it done. And that's going to get you so far. But the key is, and in athletics too, is when you find that zone, when you are in the zone, you are in control of the energy, you are making a choice to be in ease and to just relax with it and lean into the ease. That's where the zone is. That's where the abundance happens. That's where the creativity and the happiness and the true growth. In this book, they call it the quantum leap. That's where that happens. And I think we've all experienced that at different times. So I want you to ask yourself, as I ask myself often, and Dr. Hannah and I were just talking about this last week, are you trying to force it? Are you just working really hard but not really getting anywhere or making or achieving your goals? Or are you leaning into the zone? Are you in the zone? Are you following the ease? And if you're just trying to force it, one, you might find that you're burned out because you work so hard for so long and then you get burned out, and that's kind of your cycle. You go back and forth between that. That would be a sign that that's what you're doing. And if that's what you're doing, I want you to think about that mindset, the purpose. And then I want you to think about the resources that you have. You can build and have the practice, the life that you want. You can serve these families. You can simply and effectively put the pieces together in a hold apart way and be the safe place to land, be the community leader in working with these kids with deflective development. But you need to follow the steps and do it simply. I see so many people, and I get it, I see so many people trying to do a million things. And I'm like, the simplicity is right here. Start here. Start here. We've given you the system. Just start doing the system, and you will lean into that ease, and you will see the abundance come. I promise you, you will. So ask yourself those two questions. Are you keeping your side of the road clean? And this should be a consistent question to yourself. And are you leaning into the ease, or are you just working really hard? And to both of those questions, the answer or the solution, if you're saying, I'm just working really hard, or no, I'm not keeping my side of the road clean, or I didn't, is to come back to excellence and come back to simplicity. And say, what do I do? How do I follow this system? How do I go hold apart and not try to force this, but to work within these systems that work? And they work because they're right, they're hold apart right, and they're simple. So ask yourself that. Consistently make it a practice to ask yourself those two questions. And let's see how much abundance and peace we can build within yourselves and within your practice, even during this stressful time. And remember, these families need you.